Welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast. My name is Paul. I am the country hipster, the country mister. I'm a country hipster. And that music,
Country Mister.
country mister. That music you just heard was none other than the Unholy Four and their mega fucking hit song, Dirty Knife. Check out the Unholy Four on Instagram, Spotify, Bandcamp, YouTube, Apple Music, and wherever you can find the Unholy Four. I had to think about it there for a second. Podcast specific promo code. It is February, so the promo code is LOVE, LOVE. If you use the promo code LOVE at checkout at OttsvilleRecordGarage.com, you could save 15% off of your entire order at OttsvilleRecordGarage.com, so you should go do that. As we mentioned as we're going along, so today is February the 6th, and
Jesus Christ, it's February already, huh?
it's February already. I know. And so I have a newborn, I think.
I just fucking finished Christmas shopping today.
I know,
February
right?
6th.
Yes.
Crazy.
Hold on, let me make sure we're on the right dates. Yeah, no, it's
Today is February 6th, man.
yes, today is February 6th. Yep. Yes. So so I do have a newborn now, I believe.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't know what we had. So as mentioned, we are filming ahead, so that way we can get through season 2 and make sure we can post it all for you. So we're over a month ahead at this point in recording. And as I had mentioned on previous episodes, that scheduling is a little tight right now. We're just trying to speed through the rest of this. We're not totally phoning it in. We're just partially phoning it in. So Adam is not here, but I do have my co-host, the country heartthrob, the official bartender of the Ottsville Record Garage and the Country Hipster Podcast, my good friend Tom Bernhard.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
So, which also means that this is a Booze and Vinyl episode. The cool thing about this is one of those Booze and Vinyl episodes that it does not piggyback on either mine or Adam's or a listener's pick. This one was one that Tom had straight picked out of the Booze and Vinyl book. Specifically, Booze and Vinyl Volume 1 by Andre Darlington and his sister Tanaya Darlington. And we're going to get right into the first drink. I'm excited about this, and we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to kind of get a bartending lesson here from Tom, and I'm going to make the drink. He's going to make the drink. Obviously, we're not in the same room right now. But first, let's get into the liner notes of Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction from Booze and Vinyl Volume 1 by Andre Darlington and Tanaya Darlington. This is our book review of the book here. So, legal purposes, book review. Don't sue us. All right. The liner notes. Los Angeles glam band Guns N' Roses roared into the spotlight in the summer of 1987 with Welcome to the Jungle and Paradise City screaming to the top of the charts. One of the biggest debut albums ever, Appetite for Destruction gave the country a taste of sex, drugs, and rock and roll at a time when the mainstream was caught up in nostalgic Reagan-era puritanism. This was a true blast of visceral ID. Is that visceral id? Visceral ID? Is that how that would be?
Visceral would be
visceral, and then ID, like lowercase I, lowercase d. I'm not a good reader.
Like the opposite of ego.
Okay, so I never, I'm not familiar with that term. But there you go. A blast of visceral id.
It's good that you're reading it down instead of me.
Yeah, right.
Like this.
And featured a faster and even less refined punk aesthetic than the other hair bands of the late 80s. The album is perfect for karaoke or a dress-up hair band party. We should do that one time, have a dress-up hair band party.
I'm in.
That'd be cool. I might not be able to do the hair part, but I'd be down with doing it.
You get a wig at a fucking thrift shop for $7. I'm sure we can figure something out.
There you go. So before you drop the needle, notice that the two sides of this album are labeled G and R instead of side A and side B, which they actually do the same thing here on in the recipe book, which is pretty cool. Time to break out your ripped G&R t-shirt, throw on a bandana, and start fist pumping. All right, so the first drink we're going to make is...
I'm going to say, you did a pretty good fucking job with the liner notes there. For an illiterate man, you did pretty fucking well.
I read it ahead of time, so...
Okay. Oh, you had a couple read-throughs to get it?
Just one. So that is the thing, and I've always said this. So yes, as people can tell when I try to read shit, that I am not a very good reader, especially when I'm reading blind. Like if it's a cold reading or anything like that, I'm the worst. Obviously, I have trouble with words. I have trouble with what I see there. I'm processing it. But if I have a chance to read it ahead of time, I actually do a pretty good job. I was an actor at some point, so I do, and I can do a little bit of stuff. I can do a little bit of stuff if I put my mind to it. Kamikaze was a popular shot during the 80s. You can also serve this up in a cocktail glass, which is actually how I'm going to do mine. I know, it's generally a shot and whatnot, but I'm doing mine in a cocktail glass. But why would you? Interesting fact, this is the drink that spawned the Cosmo. Just add cranberry
juice, baby.
That is something I actually did not realize that until, I love Cosmos, to be honest with you. And apparently I make a good one. But I never put that together, that a Cosmo is just a kamikaze with some cranberry.
It's literally the only difference. And put it in a cocktail glass and sell it for $16.
Exactly. And whenever I think of a kamikaze, now I have drank a lot of kamikazes in my day. But that's what I think of is like early 20-year-old college girls in a dive bar that they'll order kamikazes and Red Death, you know, and that's what I think of.
The Red Death is made with a kamikaze.
Right. Yeah. What is it with the Red Death too?
If you take a kamikaze and an Alabama Slammer and you mix them, you have Red Death.
There it is. Yeah.
So a lot of bars would have all three of them because it's just making volume of two, mixed.
Yep.
I worked at a bar that would sell, when we were open, they would have dollar shots of any of those three at.
Oh, nice.
So you'd have kids who would come in and be like, "Yeah, give me 27 fucking kamikazes or whatever." And
yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I have my shaker here, and I do have my. Now you're a seasoned bartender. I am not a seasoned bartender, and I'm out of practice. So I actually have my little shot glass.
I have to apologize to you. I realized when I got home from the last time I was at the garage that I stole the jigger I'd left for you. I stole it back. But that's yours
anyway, so you didn't really steal it.
Yeah, but I had two, so I left one for your bar setup, and I stole the fucking thing because I just kind of threw it in with all the other equipment that was dirty in the plastic bag. So next time I'm back at the garage, I'll remember to leave you one.
There you go. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have even looked for it, to be honest with you. So it's all good. All right, so we're starting off with I have my ice in the shaker here, right? So Tom, take us through this. I'm not gonna.
Let me make sure I get my. I'm looking at I don't have the book in front of me, so give me 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, this one's calling for 1 ounce of vodka. I'm going to do the same thing you're doing, except I just make mine in here. I'm not actually going to shake it. I'm just going to do the opposite. So 1 ounce of vodka.
1 ounce of vodka.
That's the little end of my jigger.
Boom.
Right.
All right.
And now we're going 3/4 ounces of triple sec, which is an orange liqueur.
All right. This one I got to watch because I only have a half ounce and a 1 ounce measurement, so I kind of got to guess my 3/4 ounce there.
You're not going to be wrong. Like a little extra is not going to hurt anything. And then 3/4 ounce lime juice.
And I'm using. So are you using fresh lime juice? Yeah, you're using.
Yeah, I went and bought a bag of limes. That's why I jumped up when you were reading the intro. I had cracked a Pacifico, and I was sitting there. I'm like, wait, I got fucking limes right here. So I jumped up the cup, got a slice.
Nice. So you said Bing Crosby 3 times, and it got slammed with a bag of limes, is what you're telling me.
I went to Lidl's. I went to bullshit ass Lidl and got a fucking bag of limes.
All right. So I'm gonna put my top on. Do my little shake.
I'm gonna do this a lot easier. I'm just gonna pour this.
Yeah. And then you do it on the ice, right? You're just gonna leave it on the ice, right? I'll do the same.
I'm just gonna drink it with like the fancy gentleman that I am. I'm gonna drink it with ice.
There you go. I'm gonna do the same thing here. All right, and so there you go. That is how easy it is to make a kamikaze. We are doing them as drinks. You generally do them as shots. I'm sure mine looks like it's much more than a shot because it's got all the ice in it and whatnot.
2.5 ounces plus the ice is melting and whatever.
Yeah,
anyway,
So,
cheers.
All right, cheers. Here we go. So I would say mine has come out a little bit on the
sweet side.
Sweet and heavy lime side, which I'm going to say is
but
probably.
You're using sweet and lime juice.
Yeah.
So I'm using fresh lime juice, so it's going to be a lot more tart.
Yep. But
yeah.
It tastes like a kamikaze. It tastes like a dive bar in Northeast Philadelphia with a scantily dressed 20-something-year-old who doesn't know how to order drinks and says she wants to.
I still thought you were talking about you, the scantily clad 20-something-year-old.
I am the scantily clad
Until you said the sheep part.
40-something-year-old. Yeah. All right. So while we're enjoying our kamikazes, which is good, it's a good, solid, easy
drink, man.
You know what I mean?
I love these things. I always have. They couldn't be simpler.
Yep. And I do get the whole how it would go along with the album, especially the first side there. So here we go on to the factoids. All right. This is the debut album by American rock band Guns N' Roses, released July 21st, 1987 on Geffen Records. It initially received little this is my fucking oh, there you go. Writing. This is where I get into trouble. It initially received little attention, but when the band did extensive touring on it, it became a commercial success, selling over 30 million copies worldwide. It was originally planned as an EP in 1985. But plans for the release of the EP fell through as original guitarist Tracy Guns, who went on to form LA Guns, left the band and was replaced by Slash on guitar. I think that's a good move. Shortly after, the classic lineup of Axl Rose, Slash, Duff McKagan, Steve Adler, and Izzy Stradlin was finalized for Guns N' Roses. Rose stated that many of the songs on the album were written when the band was performing the LA club circuit. I know they were one of those big, Hollywood Boulevard bands that would do just a different place, Rainbow Club, and then
playing at the fucking Viper Room, whatever.
Yeah, wherever they were doing, that. Funny story about that.
Sorry,
what's that?
I was going to say they went from that to 2 years later playing at the fucking LA Coliseum.
Yeah, exactly. So funny story though about when they were playing the LA circuit that I heard was apparently Axl Rose, they were like doing a sound check at a show or something like that, and David Bowie either was hitting on Axl Rose's girlfriend or walked away with Axl Rose's girlfriend and left the club, and Axl Rose apparently took off, ran down Hollywood Boulevard and punched David Bowie in the face. So yeah. Many of the tracks began as solo tracks that the band members began writing separately from the band and then went on to complete for the album. The cover is interesting. We'll get into that a little bit later with the Discogs value. The original cover was based on a painting that depicted a robotic rapist about to be punished by a metal avenger. However, many retailers refused to stock it. They felt that it was too risky and just didn't like it. So because of that, the cover was changed to what we basically know it as, which is the Celtic cross with the skulls of the band members on the front there. The 2008 re-release was supposed to have the original cover, but executives changed it at the last minute to the cover that we know, the cross with the skulls. The album debuted on Billboard 200 at 182, but at that point had only sold 200,000 copies in the first several months after its release. So that was August of 1987. To the point, Geffen Records thought about saying fuck it, we're walking away from the album, all this kind of stuff, but they stuck with it. And part of the problem was that MTV didn't want to play the video. The radio stations had Aerosmith and Def Leppard and U2 all running the radio stations with their big things from 1987, and everything was going that way. But an executive at or an A&R guy at Geffen Records basically just kept talking to him, come on, you got to do this. And it somehow convinced MTV to play the video of Appetite for Destruction at a certain time 3 nights in a row. And by a week later, it was the number 1 requested video on MTV. And then they started sending out promo copies of Welcome to the Jungle out to the radio stations. And because of the MTV, it got picked up and it was doing it. So by August of 1988, a year after it actually had originally been released, it topped the Billboard 200 in the U.S. In September 2008, it certified platinum 18 18 times in the US. 18 fucking times. And that was as of 2008. And it has gone on to sell over 30 million copies worldwide. The Wikipedia did not specifically mention the top 500 albums of Rolling Stone, but when I just did a quick Google search, it looks like it's on all three lists: 2002, 2013, or 2012, sorry, and 2020, and it's all like at 62.
It fucking has to be. There's no way you can have a list that includes any rock music that doesn't include this record on it.
Yeah,
no fucking way.
Oh no, it's on there. It's on there. I just wasn't sure of the exact ranking per list. But definitely on the last one it was at 62, and I think it kind of has been in that, lower 60s area as far as the Rolling Stone top 500 albums of all time. And yeah, man, over fucking 30 million copies sold worldwide.
You said 18 in the US though alone?
As of 2008, it sold eight. It was 18 times.
Yeah, Diamond is 10 million. So yeah, they're approaching twice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, they're probably way past that.
Oh yeah, yep. So yeah, so that's the main factoids. There's a bunch of like little stuff that I just didn't really feel like getting into.
At least 3 of those are mine too, because I had that bitch on cassette, CD, and and I had the vinyl of it a long time. I don't know where the fuck it went, but I used to have a copy of it somewhere.
Nice. All right. So before we get into our feelings about this album, let's talk about the second drink. Now that I've finished my kamikaze.
Oh yeah, I hammered mine while you were talking.
Yep. The Rattle Skull is side R, in Booze and Vinyl Volume 1 by Andre Darlington and Maya Darlington. A popular colonial drink that packs a wallop. This cocktail comes straight at you from revolutionary times to help woo that sweet child. Oh, look at that. I love the play on words. Why chase your beer with a shot when you can just have them together? That's the early American logic of this drink that is hard to refute. Try it over ice or without. The taste is similar to a Cuba Libre, which is a rum and Coke. So...
with a lime, but it's got to be Bacardi and it's got to be Coke.
Yep. Okay, so Tom, I am doing mine over ice.
Because you're a punk bitch. Yeah, I get it.
I am. So, why don't you walk us through what kind of? I know it has a porter. So, what kind of porter are you using?
I've got the Spellbound mesmerizing porter. Spellbound is a local brewery there in Mount Holly, New Jersey. If you're in the area, check them out. They make good beer, and the owner is a fucking total sweetheart. Such a nice man.
Yeah,
definitely stop in there and get some beers if you're ever in the Mount Holly area.
Very good beers. I actually got to play there one time, which was a lot of fun. Cool little brewery, cool little stout.
And we haven't kissed any of the Chamonix Creek ass in a while, so I'm doing it in the Chamonix Creek pint glass.
There you go. So I'm actually using the Sam Adams OVP Oaked Vanilla Porter. So I'm sure that's going to change the flavor a little bit, but like I'm kind of doing that on purpose. I want to see what happens. You know what I mean?
I have a fancy boy one in the fridge too, but it's like a tiramisu one. I don't want to get too crazy.
Yeah, that might be a little too much. I've had the Sam Adams Oak Porter before, and it's not overly vanilla-y. Wow, that almost filled up all the way. Okay, and I'm doing a Boba Fett glass because fucking Boba Fett. All right, so
that's a good porter.
Yeah. Let me. And this porter on its own is great. Like I said, if anything, one of the things I don't like about porters is that that little bit of the bitter bite that it has on the back end.
Yeah, it tastes like asphalt at the end.
Yeah.
But
the good thing about this one is that the vanilla kind of smooths that out, but you still get a true porter taste on it. You get a lot of porter flavor.
I really like the Spellbound Mesmerizing Porter. It's very super smooth, not a ton. I mean, it's not a shitload of flavor, but this is a good porter. And I generally tend to kind of I like dark beers anyway. So this one's right up my alley.
So let me ask you something. Did we make a mistake by putting the porter in first? Should we have done that second?
No, because if you read through it, add ingredients to a chilled beer mug and stir.
Okay.
That's it.
All right,
so cool. I'm going to start with the biggest one, and then I'm going to add to that.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you are using rum. You can also use brandy with this, according to the recipe.
Yeah. Step 2, 1.5 ounces rum or brandy. We're both using rum, so we're going to have similar experience here.
Yep. So there's my 1 ounce and my half.
1.5 ounces up in there.
All right. Let's got that guy, and then
3/4 ounce fresh lime juice again.
I'm using mine here. You got the fresh stuff. I got the processed crap. But this processed crap is actually great with margaritas. I will say that.
Yeah, Roses is a good product if you need it sweet, but I always prefer fresh citrus if I can.
All right.
And
so now we got. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's cool. I'm saying 1/2 ounce of brown sugar syrup.
Nice. Yeah. So I made mine here. I've never actually really made simple syrup before, so I think I did this right. And,
just equal parts for this. You're just if you use a 1/4 cup of fucking brown sugar, 1/4 cup of water.
Okay.
Heat it until it dissolves.
All right. So let me ask you if I did this wrong. Then maybe I did it right. I don't know. So I used literally a 1/2 ounce of water. So I used a half teaspoon of brown sugar.
So 1 ounce is 3 teaspoons. I'm sorry, 1 ounce is 6 teaspoons. So 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons in an ounce.
Okay, so I don't have enough brown sugar.
Now it looked suspiciously light. Yeah, so it's not going to be as sweet, but you use sweet and lime juice, so it's probably going to be okay.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, so
did you use like a child's like spoon?
Yeah, I used Regina's Regina's spoons here. Oh, and I'm spilling.
Okay.
We're not, I got a newborn and a 2-year-old, but I don't have bar spoons everywhere.
Understood.
So,
all right, cheers, buddy.
Cheers. All right. Yeah, it doesn't do much for me.
It's okay.
Yeah, like honestly, with as good as the vanilla porter is on its own, this oak vanilla porter, I think putting the other stuff in actually takes away from my porter.
Yeah, I don't love this drink. Mm-hmm. It's okay though. I certainly don't see me ordering this at the bar.
No, I wouldn't order this out. But I mean, I'm gonna drink this one. It's not bad. Don't by any means. It's not bad. It's just.
I'm firing a couple of ice cubes in it now to see what it does.
Okay. Yeah. So, it's almost like if I were to put this on like a Regina factor scale, like I would put this drink on like an indifferent. Like I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
They'll fuck you up for sure if you sit here and drink them.
Well, yeah, probably. The Kamikaze is great. So we have as far as our book review goes of Booze and Vinyl, Volume 1 by Andre Darlington and Tanaya Darlington on the Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction. Recipes, Kamikaze, fucking 100% hit. Rattle Skull,
okay.
All right. So there you go. That is our official book review. If you are interested in picking up a copy of Booze and Vinyl 2, Booze and Vinyl Christmas, Booze and Vinyl Game, any of Andre Darlington's cocktail books, including Cowboy Cocktails and the Gotham book of cocktails and whatnot, and so on and so forth, the Big Lebowski book of cocktails, go to Andrew, I'm going to fucking say his name. Go to andredarlington.com, and you can click on the link of where you can shop and buy the Booze and Vinyl books. So please go do that and support Andre Darlington and buy the Booze and Vinyl books, and we're going to keep doing Booze and Vinyl episodes. So there you go. As you can see, an idiot like myself was able to make the drinks pretty easily. So
yep. Yeah, I noticed
difficult.
Andre and Tanaya they try to make it for the masses.
Yep.
There's not a lot of real complicated shit that you have to buy or prepare. Yep. Most of them, it's just gather the ingredients, stir or shake as instructed.
Yep. Absolutely. And they're good, and they're generally good drinks. Like I said, we're okay on the Rattle Skull, but it's
definitely more hits than misses for sure.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so this, as we said, it is a Booze and Vinyl episode. So this is one of the ones that Tom, before we did season 2, I gave you the Booze and Vinyl books and was like, pick out. However, I forget how many records I told you to pick out.
Like 6 or 5 or 6, whatever the fuck it was. It was
because I know some of the Booze and Vinyls for records we already picked out, or listeners picked out. We're just like, well, Tom's going to get the Discogs credit for those, and those are Booze and Vinyls. And then we wanted to make sure everybody had 10 records, so we told you to pick out the rest. And this was a from what I remember, a pretty easy record for you to pick.
Yeah. As soon as I scanned through them real quick, I grabbed this one. I got
don't
right away.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No, these were
okay. We already
episodes from the past, like Beastie Boys. You know,
yes,
like
yes.
it was right off the way. Like okay, Run DMC, whatever.
Yes.
But I said no. I think you had already picked Run DMC.
Yeah, I think Run DMC was one of mine. But either way, yes, yeah. I mean, it was a good one. I think you had said if I didn't pick Run DMC, you were going to pick
100%. Yeah, would have happened immediately.
Yep. Cool. So what about this album? What attracted you to this album besides the drinks?
Because this hit right when I was at the appropriate age.
Yes.
This album came out. I was 11 when this album came out, or it came out in '87, right? Late '87.
'87, yeah.
Okay, so I was 10.
Yeah, I was 11.
When I don't remember the first time I heard it, but I remember it being on the radio a lot. And this would have been 88, 89.
Yeah.
And I think I told the story on season 1's Christmas episode when we were talking about best gift we ever got. The youngest of my season 1, my older brother, John, he got me a CD changer for Christmas. Like a 5-disc, like, Panasonic or Kenwood or Pioneer, whatever the fuck it was. And then it was great. I had this really nice fucking CD changer, like a $25 stereo to plug into. But my father he got me a Sam Goody gift card.
Nice.
Like a $50 gift card to Sam Goody back when
Sam Goody.
Yeah, Sam Goody. Back when CDs were $17 a piece or whatever. And this was, I went and bought 3 CDs that day, and this was one of the 3 CDs I bought. The first ones I ever owned.
Okay, cool. So it's funny you said it, like, you don't remember, like, when you first heard it. I actually do. And I'm going to say it was probably 88 that I heard it, because, like, I don't think my brother Brian was, like, at the forefront of, like, unknown bands or anything like that. So actually, Brian, let's get to Brian. He like, I was over at my dad's house, and he grabs the tape and puts this on. He's like, "You have to hear this fucking band," and put the tape on. And I was just like, fucking 11, 12-year-old Paul was just like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And then also the whole fucking South Park, like ideology, where it's like, oh my God, they just said fuck, and they just said fuck again, and it's another fuck. And like, at that point, I never heard a band, especially a commercial band, say fuck that much in
this
music.
Was definitely one of the albums that Tipper Gore that set her off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just fell in love with it. And I mean, it's funny because when it came out, it was very much towards the end of the hair metal scene.
Yeah, I don't really lump these guys in with them, even though they were like, there's some overlap because these guys were all hair metal guys.
Yes.
But this is a totally different style of music. This is a little more like if hair metal had because to me that glam music doesn't have like a punk. Even though every one of them is like, oh, my influences are fucking Black Flag, and I don't hear it. I don't hear that at all.
Like that.
I don't hear it. But then the glam music doesn't. I never got a punk, like there was that punk undercurrent. This very much so. Like to me, this was like the beginning of something new.
Yeah, and it is like, it's funny, like, because when you look at Axl Rose and he has the big hair and all that. I mean, Slash's hair, and Duff McKagan had the hair as well, and even Steven Adler. And the only one who really didn't have big hair was Izzy Stradlin.
Izzy,
but like, it really was. It was a heavy metal hard rock album, but it was so individual, because a lot of, especially at that point, and I think this is where hair metal really started losing, like, I guess it's steam, was that a lot of like the stuff that was coming out was basically like copycat syndrome. It was a reproduction of something else. Like when you had like Warrant and Firehouse and Poison, like even a later Poison. Early Poison is what it is, and I think late Poison sounds like early Poison, but it's still it hit at 2 different times. And by the time Poison's 3rd album came out, it was basically kind of a joke. Do you know what I mean? Sure. And even like Motley Crue, I also put a little bit from their style. I put Motley Crue a little bit to the right of hair metal. They're much more into hair metal.
Oh yeah. There was something else there. There was,
yeah, there's
but it
something else
wasn't
there.
had nothing to do with Vince Neil because Vince Neil was a straight hair metal guy.
Yes,
He couldn't fucking sing either, but the band was definitely a punk band, and they were like, well, we're not going to get famous. We're not going to get rich doing punk music.
right.
We're trying to get blown. We're doing fucking hair metal
And Duplo, and yes, but
that
no, that's
too.
yes,
But
yes.
like they weren't like I don't think like they were like fuck if we got to sing some ballads, here we go, bitch, like whatever. But they also had a very punk rock kind of feel to it. Like Tommy Lee always had that feeling to me.
Yep.
Anything he's ever touched.
Yep, and that's why, like I said, like I put like Motley Crue a little bit to the right of hair metal, even though they kind of, they kind of like walk that line a little bit more with much more of the makeup and the theatrics than Guns N' Roses did. Or Guns N' Roses, they had some hair because it was the look, but they weren't a Twisted Sister. They weren't fucking, any of those other bands I fucking, even Skid Row, they weren't that band. They weren't like the
I never got that feeling from Skid Row though, but to me Skid Row was more of the Motley Crue kind of Guns N' Roses lump. Like I lumped them together in my head.
I guess, yeah. But
I think a couple of them could play, and that dude from Skid Row could fucking sing.
Well, yeah, Sebastian Bach, hell of a singer for sure. But just in general, they were definitely were like Guns N' Roses. They did this, and it was almost the perfect album to get you between the hair metal, which at that point have really become pop music, to Nirvana and the grunge.
Oh yeah, these guys got the assist on that kill.
Oh
for sure, they got the assist where Kurt Cobain fucking shot him in the head.
Yep.
That was
yeah. And what's funny is somewhere mixed in there in that same time period is Alice in Chains, who they didn't know where to put Alice in Chains.
Alice in Chains, to me, they were around before Nirvana, and
they were.
Nirvana gets all the credit, but like Pearl Jam's 10 came out before Nevermind came out. It just didn't blow up until afterwards. Like the music was out there. Nirvana was the one who got the spotlight on him to like showcase all of that grunge sound. Alice in Chains to me is always going to be. They're still one of my favorite bands. I still listen to them. I fucking love the new stuff. I don't give a fuck about, but the old their Unplugged album, their Greatest Hits album are two of my they sold it as a package copy. If you bought the CD, you get the fucking unbelievable. Talented, and they're not. Yeah, they don't fit in with any of this either.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I think I had said it on the Strokes episode where it's like, like you have Nirvana who fostered in the grunge movement, but I don't feel that Nirvana is the grunge sound.
No, they were part of it. It was just that one when Smells Like Teen Spirit hit MTV, and it blew the fuck up to the point where Weird Al was doing a parody of it. Like it got that big that it just that it shone so bright that everything around them got illuminated as well. Yeah, and then you're like, oh, there are some good bands up here. But a lot of the grunge stuff, I just can't fucking do.
Yeah, I don't get into it either.
I don't think Nirvana were particularly good musicians. I like some of their songs. I don't love any of their albums from as a whole.
Right. Yep, I kind of feel the same way.
But they did contribute quite a bit to that because, like, without them, I don't think that, like, grunge doesn't. Maybe it happens, but it's going to be a couple more years until people start catching on.
Right. Exactly. I think they definitely catapulted it to a different level. But that's like back to Guns N' Roses where it's like kind of weird. It's like not weird, but like they put this album out, which is not a full-fledged hair metal album.
No, it's somewhere in between.
Yeah, it's not a grunge album by any means whatsoever.
No, this is a metal album, but it's got like hair metal tendencies. Like you can that's there, but you can also hear you can hear like the punk kind of aspect of it too. Yeah. It's somewhere like some kind of in between. It's definitely like the metamorphosis is occurring. It's just we're not fully there yet, but it's in the middle of it for sure.
I almost feel like it's an album that they, it very much I think it's kind of hard to categorize specifically. I think it's one of those albums that very much kind of like stands the test of time and is very much an album like of its own, on its own, like a big like it does it not only bridges the gap, but it lasts. It's like it's an album that, like, if I listened to it in 1987, 88, and I listen to it today, I get just as excited about it now as I did, I guess 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 40
to
years.
me, a lot of the songs got ruined though from just like, you can't go to a fucking basketball or hockey game without hearing "Welcome to the Jungle."
Well, yeah,
and every one of those fucking stadium guys thinks they're being clever, but everybody fucking does it, man. That's irritating, and that makes me not want to listen to that song. Like, they've ruined it for me. Like, 93.3 MMR ruined fucking Led Zeppelin for me. I can't listen to Led Zeppelin because he's cunts.
Well, Led Zeppelin ruined Led Zeppelin for me. So
listen, I don't mean there were probably not great people, and they stole most of their music, but they were a legit huge act. But fucking MMR had 5 songs that they would play over and over and over again by them. Yeah, I don't want to listen to them anyway. But also, you and I have that in common, that I don't fucking like Led Zeppelin.
and 4 of them were on Led Zeppelin 4. So
yeah.
But and it, like I said, this is just one of those albums. And when I went back and listened to it this week, I'm just like, oh fuck, I forgot this song was on here. Shit, like, because that is the thing. Like, now when you think of this album, you think of the hits. You think of Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, and Paradise City. You know what I mean? Sure. Those are the songs that's like, those are the songs that are still getting all the airplay and whatnot. And it's just like, okay, and then, but like, I'm going through it and like, I'm like, fuck, it's so easy. I forgot about this song.
I'll bet you if I hadn't listened to the album front to back in years, like all these albums we do, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. Like you're saying, I forgot this song was on here. I didn't fucking forget. I might not have got the order right, but I'll bet you I could have named all 12 songs on that album.
Right.
Yeah. But again, I owned it 3 copies, and I played the tape so much that it fucking didn't work anymore.
Yep. Nice. So, do you recall about how Welcome to the Jungle was featured in a Dirty Harry movie?
It's in the club scene, right?
It's in 1988, Dirty Harry, the Deadpool. The film features Jim Carrey, a yet to be like blown, like before the mask, Jim Carrey lip syncing Welcome to the Jungle while a youngish Liam Neeson is filming the video of this heroin addicted rock star. And that's like the big scene. That's like one of the first like major motion pictures that Jim Carrey was in. But it's Welcome to the Jungle, and they're supposed to be filming this video, and the whole premise of the Deadpool is that there's these.
I remember the movie. I just haven't seen it in 20 years.
Yeah, there's this list of people who made this dead list, people who they expected to die over the next year, and Jim Carrey's character was one of the people who was listed on this list. Because of his heroin addiction. So they're having an issue with the filming of the scene, this, that, and the other thing. So Jim Carrey goes back to his trailer, and then the killer comes in and grabs him and shoots him up with a shit ton of heroin. Hence he dies. So that person gets marked off the dead list. And that's the premise of the movie, is that someone is going around marking, killing the people who are actually on the dead list, or the Deadpool. But yeah, so that Welcome to the Jungle is the song that's in there, and it was from 88. And also there's a small scene where I don't think Axl Rose is in it, but there is a scene, again, they're supposed to be filming this movie and this video and whatnot, where I believe it's Slash, Steven Adler, and Izzy Stradlin. They like fire a harpoon like across the thing. It like kind of reminded me of like that movie, That Thing You Do, when they have to do the movie where they're the band is Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. Like that's what that scene kind of reminded me of. Like, this is probably what these guys had to deal with there.
Unfortunately, I have not seen that movie, so I'll just take your word for it.
It's good.
Sounds appropriate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like you have a hit record, now you're going to do this Dirty Harry movie. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yep. Do you recall on MTV every Saturday night they used to have I think it was at midnight they had a show called Headbangers Ball.
So that used to be on Thursday nights when I was a kid.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, Ricky Rackman had it back then.
Okay.
Before what's his face got it, the bald guy, Matt.
Yeah. So
Pinfield.
Okay, so well, I remember my God, who was the host then? Because
it was on at like 9 o'clock with Ricky Rackman, I remember, and it was it was the first time I ever heard Pantera.
Okay. So with me, I go back a little bit further. When it was actually, I believe it was the original host who, let me see if I can look up who it was. The original host was, hold on, I'm trying to find out.
I'm pulling.
Oh no, actually, the original host was Kevin Seal. I'm thinking of Adam Curry when Adam Curry was the host of it. It was that's when I remember.
Yeah, I don't remember him really.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have cable TV.
Okay.
So I remember watching it at my friend's house when I was
nice.
12, 13, whatever.
So when we were kids, it was on Saturday nights at midnight. To kind of go against like Saturday Night Live or whatever MTV was trying to do. That was Headbangers Ball. It was all the thing. Adam Curry was the host, but one of the episodes was a special episode where they showed live. I think it was obviously pre-recorded, but it was live from the Ritz in New York City. It was Guns N' Roses doing a live performance. Like that was the whole hour-long thing. And I mean, it was like, it looked like it was a generally like a pretty small club, relatively small club, but like every other fucking word like was bleeped out throughout the whole thing. Like when Axl Rose was talking and when he was playing and and they're singing, it's like bleep 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 bleep. It was pretty crazy. But it was cool. And it was actually the first time they actually closed that show, at least the broadcast of the show. It's the first time I heard them play Knocking on Heaven's Door and thought like, oh, that's fucking cool, man. They're going to do some Eric Clapton and, and that was pretty cool. So it was, and I remember we actually recorded the episode on VHS. And I want to say one of the attractions to it was actually, they were doing it without commercials. I could be wrong about that.
Okay.
But I think they actually, that was like one of like the attractions to it. It was Guns N' Roses live from the Ritz in New York City, and it was like without commercials. And I remember we watched it on VHS. We used to watch it all the time. It was fucking awesome.
I don't remember the guy that you were saying, Adam Curry.
Adam Curry, yeah. Big blonde hair, big, he'd wear a leather jacket, and the big like poofy blonde hair. That was Adam Curry.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull a memory from 35 years ago, but I always just remember Ricky Rackman because I think he probably did it for the longest, but
I think he did, yeah.
I don't know what years we're even talking at this point. It's so fucking hard when you're trying to talk about memories.
Yeah, according to the Wikipedia that I just looked up, Ricky Rackman took over in 1990. Adam Curry left in 1990, and Ricky Rackman took over from there. This was an album. I don't know if you had this issue. At first, I couldn't play this album around my mom.
Well, I didn't have to worry about that.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go.
She was nowhere to be found.
Okay, so. All right. Well, there you go. Way to bring the party down.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we couldn't play this around my mom, but eventually, like we would, and like I don't know, like eventually it didn't become an issue because she really liked the album. You know what I mean? She really liked the music. She looked beyond the cursing because she actually liked the music and like what they were doing. And like I said, man, this album still fucking holds up. 100% holds up.
Still a great album.
Yes. Amazing album. Slash absolutely amazing guitar player.
Mm-hmm. The rhythm section is no joke either. And most people couldn't tell you who they are, but like just listen to this album again. I was pretty like I didn't realize how good they were.
Oh yeah, man!
I was very impressed with them.
Duff McKagan is a great fucking bass player who could also sing. I've heard some of his solo stuff, which is really fucking good. Never really got into it, but I was just like, oh fuck, this is Duff McKagan. This is pretty fucking good. Yeah. Great bass player, very solid bass player. Did like a lot of stuff there. Izzy Stradlin, he's the first one to leave the band, and I didn't really look into why he left the band or anything like that. But like, he was such a fucking solid like. rhythm guitar player, but like, and that's the thing. It's like Slash is so good that like I'm sure like Izzy just didn't seem as good, even though he probably could fucking play circles around most of the people out there.
Yeah, it's hard to steal the spotlight off of a fucking one of the greatest guitar players that ever fucking lived, though. Like, if you had another good guitar player in Van Halen, like, how would you know?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
You got fucking Slash, who's a transcendent guitar player.
So where do you think Slash would kind of rank in like greatest guitar players ever? Because I personally would probably.
It's such a subjective fucking list, though.
Oh, it is. It is. Like, I would probably have him in a. I'm gonna say, and I don't even know who they would all be, but I would probably put him in like a 10 to 20 somewhere if I was going to rank the.
Yeah,
like,
he wouldn't be in my top tier, but he'd be like in the next one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too.
I don't know how many people would be in my top tier, but he'd be in my like second tier and toward the top of that because he is a fucking good guitar player. Yeah, and he always was. Like, and he has a very unique style too. Like, you know that's Slash playing that fucking guitar.
Oh yeah,
He's one of those few people that you don't need to tell me who's playing. Like, that sounds like it's like when you hear. I don't want to give these guys any credit for anything, but when you hear the Edge play, you know that's him. When you hear Eddie Van Halen, you know that's him. Joe Satriani. They're like these guys that are just these fucking virtuosos.
Yep.
They Stevie have a Ray very. Vaughan.
Yep.
What's that?
Stevie Ray Vaughan is one of those.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah. But again, if we're talking blues stuff, there's several guys that you just know because they have that signature style.
Yep.
And Slash is right there with them. To me, like I know that he's so fucking good and very identifiable, and signature sound that he has. I don't even know what equipment he uses because I don't know dick about music, but I know what Slash sounds like.
I think for the most part he uses a Les Paul and a Marshall stack.
Yeah, I always see him with the one big ass Les Paul. Like that's generally his guitar. Like in all the videos anyway, he's playing that Les Paul.
Yeah, and I know he plays other guitars. I think he probably has a line of guitars of his own and stuff like that. But like,
I saw them live many years ago, and I don't fucking remember what guitar he had because I was probably drunk as fuck. So
okay, cool. We'll get into that in a second. But like, so that is actually one of the things. Like that I will say is I remember learning how to play guitar as like 12-year-old Paul, 11-year-old Paul, 12-year-old Paul trying to learn how to play guitar. One of the things I wanted to know how to play, it was the riff from Sweet Child of Mine. And it just sounded so fucking cool and just so amazing. And then they're all like, and it wasn't just that it was the opening riff. There were other riffs in there as well. It was like, fuck, why, so I remember learning like the second riff, and being like, oh my God, I learned that. Maybe I can still learn the first one. And I couldn't. I can play it a little bit now, but I can't play it fucking perfectly. That's for sure. But like, that is one of the things like you got to give him credit for is that he wrote one of the riffs that people want to fucking learn how to play. It's kind of like, and I hate him, but like I never wanted to learn it, but like a lot of people wanted to learn how to play Stairway to Heaven on guitar. Fuck Stairway to Heaven. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jimmy Page wanted to learn how to play it too. That's why he found somebody else that played it and fucking stole his work.
That's why I took it from Tarkus.
He found the guy who played it and fucking just copied it.
Not Tarkus. Free, right?
I don't know. They ripped off so many fucking bands over the years.
Yeah, the song is Tarkus. Yeah, that's what it is. It's I believe it was Spirit or Free, something like that. And then he stole the song Tarkus. But actually, wait, let me see. I might have that in back notes. Hold on. As I'm looking here, it's not that big of a deal. But where is it? Fuck. Actually, I do think I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't. Fuck it. Okay. But at any rate, yeah, but that is one of the greatest things about Slash as a guitar player is not only is he fucking good, he's a good songwriter, he's fucking technical, but he's like, and I think that's where I have a tough time ranking like a lot of heavy metal guitarists as great guitarists. Technically, they're great. They're amazing. They do these amazing things. Their fingers move so fast. They're up and down the fretboard, but it's all technical. It's all technique, which is good, which is amazing. You have to be technical to do this stuff. You really do. But if you can be technical, but then play with fucking feeling, and
Mm-hmm.
and make your sound fluid. And that is one of the beautiful things about Eddie Van Halen, was everything that Eddie Van Halen did, as much as he was technical, also there was feel to everything that he did.
To me, like Slash, he also has like, I don't love a lot of their later work, Guns N' Roses. I love this album. Use Your Illusions 1 and 2 could be one good album.
Yeah, yeah.
But they decided to have two mediocre fucking albums instead.
Right.
He has some of the best fucking solos on those songs too.
Absolutely.
And I always love that shit. Like, I don't know, I'm assuming he writes that part, but he super creative, very identifiable, and some of the best ones. Like, he's got like a fucking 3-minute solo on like November Rain, and I don't have to play the song. I know the fucking solo in my head.
Yep. Absolutely. Yes. I can't say enough good things about Slash and just how good he is. I did hear that there was, and I don't know if it was true, but I did hear that his signature Les Paul that he had actually bought from Joe Perry in Aerosmith.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and I think at some point actually sold it back to Joe Perry, because I think Joe Perry was a little strung out on heroin at the time when he actually sold it to Slash.
So he basically pawned it to Slash.
pretty much, yes. So Joe Perry basically pawned it to Smack, but that is the Les Paul that Slash played for all those years, and then like I said, eventually he sold it back to Joe Perry and was just like, all right, there you go, buddy. You have your guitar back. I think that's how that story goes. If one of our listeners out there knows for sure, can kind of confirm that, like, drop it in the comments. Let us know if you can confirm the story there. Let us know what you're thinking. So you had mentioned you had seen Guns N' Roses?
I did. So when we were in high school, they were on a tour. It was Metallica, Faith No More, and Guns N' Roses.
Oh, fuck. I remember that tour. Okay.
Yeah, it was we saw up at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And it was Faith No More opening up. And I mentioned I'm not a musician, and I remember when they were doing sound check, do you know the song Dirty Job?
No.
I'm sorry, from the Dirty Jobs, the opening of Dirty Jobs, the show.
Okay.
There's a song, We Care a Lot.
Uh-huh.
And there's this weird little noise that play, and I'm like, he was playing it on the keyboards. And I was like, oh, that's where that comes from. It was like, I was like 14 at the time when they were. So I was in like 10th grade, I guess, at the time. Right. And Faith No More opened, and then it was Guns N' Roses and Metallica, and they were, it was amazing.
Yeah, I remember hearing of that tour. And I think
it was a big one too, and it was supposed to be Nirvana opening, but Nirvana. Kurt Cobain was like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And refused to do it, and then they got Faith No More involved.
Yep. And that's funny because you mentioned like Nirvana, and that's like that weird time of what do you do? Whereas like I think Sean from the Unholy Four, a friend of the podcast, saw Alice in Chains open for like Slayer and fucking Iron Maiden or some shit like that. It was some weird lineup where it's like, because they didn't know what to do with Alice in Chains, and that's where like I saw up like a couple bands where it's like, what is this band doing with these guys?
Well, like 6 months before I saw that show with Metallica and Faith No More and whatnot, I saw Nirvana open for the Melvins at a fucking tiny little building, like 600-800 people building,
which makes sense.
But I had no idea who the fuck they were.
Right.
And I don't remember being super blown away by them. I was like, oh, these guys got some good songs. Okay, whatever. Like, let me go get more beers because we were kids. And then I didn't even like the Melvins. We were just there because a friend of mine liked them. And it was like $10 to get in because it was at City Gardens. And
I was going to say.
In Trenton.
Oh, City Gardens. Yes.
Cheers, City Gardens.
John Stewart was a tendon bar, probably.
He might have been over at the bottom half at that point.
Yeah, there you go.
He worked at another bar in town also.
Oh, okay. Nice. So cool. So no, I never got to see Guns N' Roses live, but when I was working in the movie industry, so we had this service that we provided called Digital Cinema Services, whereas basically if someone had a movie or a project or something like that, they would pretty much do all the legwork. They would book all of the theaters for it. It would usually be some sort of a limited run, but they would do all they would book all the theaters for it. They would do all the marketing for it, all that kind of stuff. What we would do is we would fulfill their orders. So they would send us the files, and we would make the film together. It was called a DCP, or sometimes, or we were putting it on Blu-ray or whatever. So one of the projects we got to do on a digital cinema services was Guns N' Roses in live in 3D from Las Vegas. But the caveat was that it was not the original lineup. It was Guns N' Roses because I guess, because this happens with bands sometimes, is where like Axl Rose pretty much owns Guns N' Roses. He owns the name Guns N' Roses. He probably owns most of the publishing, so on and so forth. Basically, he is Guns N' Roses. So from a legal business standpoint, Axl Rose is Guns N' Roses. So it was Axl Rose and then a bunch of other people. That was when Tommy Stinson from The Replacements was playing bass for him. On this video, Buckethead was playing guitar.
Yeah, I forget Slash didn't want any fucking part of Axl. Yeah. Slash was out. Buckethead's in.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. So that was the thing. So that was kind of cool to get for me to get to do that and like watch that that movie. I might actually even have a Blu-ray of it here somewhere too, because I took a bunch of stuff when that company closed down. So I actually do. I think I might have the Blu-ray there, but and I think the Blu-ray might be in 2D, so I might even be able to watch it. But it was kind of neat, and I got to QC it, and I remember I was telling Katie about this the other day, that like one of the things, when they had me QC the movie, the guy who put the files together was not like a hair metal guy whatsoever. He was very he's amazing at what he does. If you ever get a chance, check out anything Atomic Cheesecake. That is the guy who I used to work with, and that's his production company. But if you just Google Atomic Cheesecake, you'll be able to see all the different stuff they do. It's really fucking avant-garde, fucking artsy shit with some 3D stuff, and it's very amazing. But he would put the files together, and then somebody else would QC them, and he wasn't that familiar with Guns N' Roses or hair metal in general. So I got to QC it, and I remember pissing him off because they were doing the one song, and I was like, the audio's off. And he's like, the audio's not fucking off. It's dead on. I'm like, no, the audio's off. And my boss comes in. He's like, what are you guys fighting about? I'm like, audio's off. And he's like, show me. So I was like, listen, look at the song right there, right? He's doing that, right? That should be a G chord right there. And he's playing a D. And they just kind of look at me. I'm like, it's not on. And they went back and they looked at the master, and it was like literally just like half a second off. And he's like, we had to go back and redo all the files because of that one section that I picked up there.
Had to open your mouth.
I had to open my mouth. Yeah. I'm like, no, this is gotta be right. But like I knew the music so well, and I knew the song so well and what they're supposed to be playing, that I was just like, no, that's wrong. That's off. And it was because of that. But I mean, it literally, if you didn't know, you probably wouldn't notice. But like I noticed it, and Ryan got mad at me because he had to go back and redo the whole fucking thing. But no, so I've never, that's the closest I've ever come to seeing them live. And it's kind of one of those things. I don't know that I would, if tickets were a reasonable price, I would probably go see them. Like, and when I say reasonably priced, I would probably spend up to $150 per ticket to see them, which is probably a little more than I like to spend on concerts. But
I don't remember what we paid, but I mean, I was able to afford it as a high school student.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we went to the Ticketron in the Quaker Mall to buy the tickets.
Nice.
But
nice.
I don't remember what we paid, but I remember it had to be reasonable because I didn't have anybody giving me money.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I was working like at the farmer's market, during the summer.
Yep. But yeah, so that would probably be like where I would like, that would be like my top threshold, which I don't. And it would have to be, it couldn't be that like Buckethead bullshit either. It'd have to be.
Yeah, if it came back around, I don't think I would have any interest in seeing them now.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see them again. We were going to go see them a couple times in the 90s. And both times they just canceled.
Yep.
Like we never got to see them.
Yep. And I know like Steven Adler is not doing much of anything anymore. But like, I would, as long as it had Slash and Duff McKagan, I don't think Izzy Stradler. I think he did the original reunion tour. I think Izzy Stradlin did do that, but hasn't been with them since, or did like part of it, or did some.
They had like the whole band back together at one point but it was quick because Axl's such a fucking diva.
Yeah,
and they couldn't get along, and like that was that. And I don't remember who the drummer was, but Steven Adler was like the first one to go. All right, fuck this, I'm out of here.
It was Matt Sorum, and Matt Sorum is the one who actually
he was the first replacement for Steven Adler, right? And he was a very capable drummer in his own right.
Yep. Yeah, no,
you're not losing a step with him instead of Steven Adler.
Yep, and not to actually plug another business, but Matt Sorum is a part owner in Experience Vinyl, which is a website that sells records.
I heard he kicks dogs, though.
I have no idea. Does he?
Is that what I heard? Yeah.
We don't kick dogs at the Outsville Record Garage. So.
That's what I'm trying to say. OuttsvilleRecordGarage.com. There is no dog kicking.
There is no dog kicking, and we love our chickens.
But I'm just saying, people have said that he might do those things, so you should not buy vinyl there. You should go to OuttsvilleRecordGarage.com.
So when you say people, are you people?
No. Other people have said these. Listen, if this is good enough for a political debate, it's good enough for the fucking Country Hipster podcast. People have said. That's all I'm saying.
There you go, man. Yeah, so, I mean, there's not enough good things I can say about this album, man, and it really did. It was very, that's kind of one of the things I love about music and records, too. It's like fucking getting into a time machine and going back to a time and a place. And a lot of times it's like a kind of, might be a little bit better of a place of time. Not that I'm in a bad place at all, but it's just, there's the nostalgia factor of vinyl and music in general. It's like building your own time machine. When you build your record collection, it's like building a fucking time machine that you could just go to any time, any place or time in your life and be transported back to that feeling and that moment. And that's what this album does for me.
This album definitely had a big part because it showed up right when it was like, at the same time as a couple of others, like we're talking, this was in rotation with the Beastie Boys. This was so for me and Run DMC and shit, we're same era for all these fucking records.
Yeah, man. Yep.
And I was, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. I was just starting to get into music, and I was always hanging out with the skateboard kids and the long-haired kids and the kids fight. Like I have some story, like this album in particular, I have a very like a particular fondness for Paradise City, and I'll explain when we get to the top three.
Okay.
There's a reason why I have a fondness for this fucking album or for that particular song.
Nice. Good stuff.
So anyway, Paul.
Yeah.
So I fucking love this album.
Yes.
And you love this album.
I do.
Okay, but I mean, obviously we are just mere peasants compared to the actual star of the Country Hipster podcast.
Yes.
And noted big sister at this point.
Yes.
Big sister. So what does Regina think, that sweet baby angel, think of this record?
So did you get a chance to watch last week's episode on the front bottoms? I don't think.
Are you talking about? I have not seen that yet. No.
Okay. Yeah. So it's funny because the Regina factor on that was pretty funny because I put on Adam's album, the front bottoms, for her, and she looked up and I turned to her and I said, Regina, what do you think about this album? And she says, sucks. Just like the funniest fucking thing in the world. So once I knew I had the Regina factor on that, I was like, fuck it, let me put on Appetite for Destruction and see what she thinks of this. And so
I fucking love this kid.
It was great. Kate could barely say a word, but she goes, sucks. Not only that, but she said it twice. So then we put on Appetite for Destruction, and Welcome to the Jungle gets through its entirety, and she just starts clapping. So I was like, all right, there you go.
Is that the first standing ovation from Regina for a record on the show?
I think it was. So it is a solid like for Regina. So that brings you to 5 likes and 1 indifferent. You don't have any dislikes yet. My records are all done, so I'm at 8 likes, 1 dislike, and an indifferent. Adam is at 6 likes, 2 dislikes, and an indifferent. He has 1 album left. And then the listeners are at 5 likes, 1 dislike, and 3 indifferents, and they also have 1 album left. But no, it was just amazing, and it was really in a short period of time where it went from literally like once she said it sucks, I didn't even finish the front bottoms album for her. and then just went and put on Appetite for Destruction, and she just like her whole demeanor changed, and like as soon as Welcome to the Jungle was over, she just fucking clapped. I'm like, all right. So yeah,
fucking kid, I love this kid.
Yeah. So what are your top 3 songs?
Okay, so my top 3. Let me get my little hipster notebook out.
Yes.
My top 3, easily my number 1 song on this album is the last song on it, which is Rocket Queen.
Okay.
Not sure. I think, and even then, it's the first 2/3 of the song that I love the most, because the song pulls a real switcheroo at the end.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's
yeah.
real different all of a sudden. Like, He's like, hey, you remember all that shit I said the last fucking 52 minutes of the album? I mean the opposite of that. I don't mean any of it. But I just love the song. Great chorus in it. I love the effects they use. I love the guitar work in it. To me, that song is fucking perfect, and I love it. My second favorite song on the album is My Michelle, which is the darkest fucking album on the darkest song on the album. But I love it because I love the guitar work on it. Beautiful song. And my third favorite is Paradise City.
Okay. Are you getting choked up? Are you getting choked up?
No, I'm trying not to laugh. We were in high school. We were at a party in a field, as you do, and there were some kids that we don't necessarily like there, like 8 of them, and there was like 20 of us, and we were just mildly talking shit across the field to them, and we had cans of beer. And we were drinking, and I took a full can of beer, and I fucking threw it at him, and I hit one of them like right in the cock with it from like 50 yards away. And Paradise City was blasting at the time, and it's like, to me, it's the memory of me hitting this kid in the dick with a full can of beer from 50 yards away, and it's always going to be tied to this song. So there. That's
pretty good.
I hope I didn't give too much of a spoiler about that being on my top 3, but like I couldn't. Like, that's why. I mean, it's also just a great fucking song. Great guitar work in that one as well. Like, I mean, that can be said about the whole album, but like the most memorable, obviously, being "Sweet Child of Mine." That would have probably been, if I had any honorable mentions, that would have been next on it.
Okay, all right, cool. So my top 3 are my number 1, and it always has been. And honestly, it's because of like, there's only one time they dropped the F-bomb in Mr. Brownstone.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the things about that song that I like. It's like, that old man is a middle motherfucker. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's like perfect, and it works so well. And it's almost like a blues song. That
is such a good song too.
Yeah, that's definitely my absolute favorite song on this album.
Okay.
The next song that I'm listing here, it's one of the songs I forgot about until I listened to it this week. But when I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, I fucking love this song. It's So Easy.
Okay. That's what I was about to actually say that.
Yeah. And it's like
that's the one too you just don't think about.
Fuck off. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's like, God damn, yeah, these guys are fucking badass. They're just telling people to fucking leave me alone. You don't like it? Fuck you. Fuck off. Yeah. Like, I love that. I love that attitude about it. And that is like that's like, it's so good. And then my number 3, as you mentioned, it would be one of your honorable mentions, man. Sweet Child of Mine. I got a soft spot, and I wanted to.
How can you not? Like, how can you dislike that song?
And that's the other thing too. So even as a, because I was reading earlier. So November Rain, which came out on like one of the Lose Your Illusions.
Yeah, that was on the first one.
Right. So that was actually slated to be on Appetite for Destruction. It was already written.
Dude, like half of the Use Your Illusion shit they had already written.
Yeah.
But
they had Sweet Child of Mine as the ballad, which as far as a ballad goes,
but there's another one on there that would qualify more as a ballad too.
Right.
Sweet Child of Mine should have been the ballad.
Yes.
And the other song could have been left right off the fucking record, and it would have been a better record for it, to be honest with you.
Is that your least? Is that why you're not saying what it is? What is it?
My least favorite is Think About You.
Oh yeah.
To me, it's in the middle of the album. It's like the 8th, 7th song, 6th song, whatever. It's in the middle of the fucking album. It makes no sense. It's unlike every other song on the album, and it just doesn't like.
Yeah.
It was like a weird attempt at a ballad, but they didn't want to be like, well, real ballads are for pussies, so we're not going to put that on here. We're going to put this one on here because we got an electric guitar. Like
we got a cool guitar part, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't, to me, that song shouldn't have been on the album, and I would have been fine if they were like, yeah, Sweet Child of Mine is as fucking soft as we get, bitch. Here you go. Like I would have been fine with that. But think about you. I just don't like it. I don't think it fits with the album. To me, it doesn't make sense with the album. And it breaks it up. And I don't think it's.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about Sweet Child of Mine being the ballad, is that it's like, this is as soft as we're gonna fucking get, until they turn around and put out like Don't Cry and November Rain and all that kind of shit later. But
I got a soft spot for Don't Cry too, because I fucking love Shannon Hoon.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh yeah.
That's a fucking duet.
Yeah.
And because apparently Shannon Hoon and Axl are from like the same part of Indiana. Okay. So when Shannon Hoon was out in LA, like that's how they got to meet each other, and they were like real good friends.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's cool.
And that's why he had him singing fucking harmony with him on that one song.
Okay.
Don't Cry.
Cool. So I don't mean to Think About You would probably be a dishonorable mention for me. I didn't really put any dishonorable mentions, but that would probably be it. This was actually hard for me to pick out, and I don't mean to shit on your story. If I had known your story beforehand, this might not have been my least. But Paradise City,
you dirty bitch,
is my least favorite on this album.
Okay,
but your fucking story is great.
But I love I don't know, with Paradise City, I just like the opening. I love the way it starts. I love like the beat fucking, and you're like, okay, here we go. Just get you going.
I think honestly, the thing that gets me about Paradise City is at this point, it's so fucking overplayed.
To me, the only one that it's super overplayed for me is Welcome to the Jungle. The rest of them I can listen.
That's overplayed too. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, I mean, that's fair. I do hear it a lot. I've heard it a million times in my life. I get it. It's totally fair criticism.
Yep. Okay. So on to the Discogs value. Okay. Now, Adam has been saying all along that he's actually worried about you.
Where's Adam at anyway?
Who fucking knows?
Hey, fuck what he has to say, by the way. Also, I mean, I still love you, Adam. I don't mean that. I just,
Yeah, I know. No, it's
too cool to fucking hang out with us. Doesn't want to be seen with me anymore. Am I a joke to you, Adam?
We gotta just do it. We just gotta get this done. So it's kind of like, Adam, I'm just gonna do these things without you.
I think he just decided to fucking one and done with me. I think that was it. I think he's fucking afraid to be seen with me now, and he doesn't want to.
That could be it.
He's got a new girl. He doesn't want to make things awkward. What's going on?
I have to find out if I have to edit that out or not.
Oh yeah, well that's his problem. That's February Adam's problem, not mine.
Exactly. So what he has been saying all along is he is worried about you and your values when it comes to the Big D.
Oh, that's because I've only got like 3 of them or 4 of them. I'm not sure. The timeline's all fucked up here, so I'm not sure where we're at with however many we have. But so like most of you guys are almost all done, and it's like only me left.
2, 3. So you have 4 episodes left that are Booze and Vinyl episodes, and one of them we already know is we already know when we're doing that. Because we are especially setting that up for which is actually going to be our 100th episode, and will probably be the next time everybody will be in the garage, just because we're just trying to get this done as quickly as fucking possible. Before I have a baby, but I've already had a baby.
So I mean, the timeline is all fucked up here.
Timeline's all fucked up. Space-time continuum is all over the place. I think when I went back into DeLorean on the fun episode,
DeLorean, sir,
delivered that letter to Adam, I think I fucked up everything, and so we don't know where the fuck we are at this point. So once again, I'm going to blame Jack fucking Antonoff for fucking up everything in our lives. I
like your creative pronunciation of words. I do respect it. DeLorean. I never would have thought of that one.
Why? What is it actually?
DeLorean with an N.
That one. Yeah, DeLorean.
Yeah, that one. A DeLorean. Okay, but whatever. Yeah.
So here's the thing, man. I think Adam might be onto something. So even though you have the average, and honestly, because we're doing averages, this kind of hurts you, but doesn't hurt you.
This album is exceedingly fucking hard to find on vinyl, so I'm assuming that the average price of almost, you could pick any fucking pressing of it, and it's going to be worth some cash. Because I never fucking see this at the store. And I fucking look for it when I go out.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I have one in stock now, but if you're
not.
looking for it, I'm pretty sure I can get one into the Ottsville Record Garage for you.
Well, we'll talk for sure.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, obviously, the older pressings, the original pressings, are worth more money. So, as we do with these, we generally, if there are 5 different pressings, we try to go for 5 different pressings to get the average. There's way more than 5 pressings of this. But I didn't get into like the imports and whatnot. I just stuck with U.S. pressings. Now, here is the impressive part, right? So the first thing I was looking for when I looked at these up was an original pressing with the original cover. So in 1987, uncensored cover with the original cover, the very good plus value of it was $176.
Okay.
Here's the fucking crazy part, is that an original pressing of the album with the cross and skulls value, good
probably more, right?
Surprisingly enough, I thought it would be more, and significantly more. That would be worth $374 on a very good plus value.
So I think I know why, though, because I think it was such a short run. Because when they had to change the cover, I think on the original pressing of the records, there was like 75% of them were that original.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
When they replaced the cover, it was such a small portion of the run. It's like for baseball card collectors, the Billy Ripken card in the Fleer set with the fuckface bat handle.
Yeah.
The one where it's blacked out is actually worth more than the one where it says fuckface, because there's a lot less of them out there.
Okay.
that's the only reason.
Because then the 1988 pressing, which is when it really like fucking took off, is
that was
going to be $2.
Okay, well, even still. That's a fucking a huge amount for a record that was pressed that many times.
Yep. And then when you get into there's a 2008 remastered and then a 2022 180 gram remastered version. I didn't get into the box set because we don't usually get into box sets. So I wasn't getting into the box sets, but those are $27 and $34 respectively. So that actually brings your very good plus value, the average value of those 5 different pressings, still a good fucking number, $141 on this record alone. So that brings your total, with 4 records still to go, that brings you to 440. Fuck, is that a 6 or a 4? I can't read my writing. Hold on, let me look.
6.
Is it 40? Yeah.
It's a 6 because 6
444. It's $444. I'm still in the lead, but now with 4 records left and seeing the value of this and knowing what else you have on your booze and vinyls, I'm actually somewhat a little bit concerned. I'm in the lead still at $823. The listeners are in third with $571. I think you're going to beat the listeners. And then I think you're definitely going to beat Adam, who is at $522.
I'm going to fucking beat Adam all right if he keeps ducking me. He's going to catch a fucking beating.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I felt like I had a pretty good fucking song. And Adam, I think, only has 1 album left. Adam has 1 album left. The listeners have 1 album left. You have 4 albums left. And so I'm honestly a little concerned.
I just don't want to finish in last place. That's all I care.
Oh, I don't think you're going to finish in last place, buddy. As we've been saying all season long, you're bringing up the rear, but I think you're going to. That's
where I do my best work. So
I know.
I got to tell you, I grabbed a can of it's Sigmeister Brewing they're out of Hackettstown, New Jersey. This is their tiramisu milk porter, and it is fucking delightful. And I think anybody out there listening should really give this one a try.
Nice. So we got the box of Mike here with Michael Stripe.
He's all dick, that one.
All dick. This is somewhat ceremonial because, like I said, we're trying to get ahead. So
what?
It is.
Wait, you're saying that there was some creative editing going on or creative TV magic going on here?
Like 6 weeks ago when we recorded this, yes, there might have been, because I knew I had a baby coming.
It's February. What are you talking about?
I know, right? In honor of Adam, I'm going to open up envelope number 22 in the stupid ass way, since he hasn't been here for a while. All right. And
next time I'm on the show, I'm going to rip it right down the middle of the fucking envelope to piss you off.
There you go. Now, so Tom, unfortunately, again, with scheduling stuff, I don't believe you're going to be on this episode either, but it is another Booze and Vinyl. It is one of your Booze and Vinyls. It is the Sex Pistols. Never mind the Bullocks.
Oh, sir.
Yes.
You got to get me on. You got to get me on that episode.
All right. Well, we'll talk when we're off air. This is a Booze and Vinyl. Let me see what we're going to be making here.
I guarantee it's going to be a shot, and then I don't know. I couldn't guess the other one, but it's going to be something fucking gross.
I tell you what, it's got some cool names. It's good. God Save the Cream. and one that's called Get Pissed Quick in Prince or in a
that's got to be the fucking that's gonna have some high proof fucking rum or something in it.
That's some whiskey, some cider, and some stout all combined into a glass.
That sounds terrible.
This one is from Booze and Vinyl Volume 2. We haven't done a whole lot in vinyl. No particular reason. We just haven't. By Andre Darlington and Tanaya Darlington. So that'll be next week's episode.
I remember going through and picking that out specifically. That was another one of those ones where you're like, oh, shit.
Yep. Sex Pistols, never mind the Bullocks. Here's the Sex Pistols is next week's episode. And this is one, too. Like, if we're able to, like, if there's some old or really original pressings on Discogs of this album, man, I think that'd be another one where you might shoot up in the big
yeah, for sure.
Know, so we'll see what
happens. Old and nobody gave a fuck about him for a while, so like it's going to be probably hard to find originals of that album.
Nice. All right, so I have nothing else. Tom, do you have anything else?
Megan, earmuffs.
Oh, okay.
I'm setting the over-under on this one at 17 and a half pilots.
17 and a half pilots?
I'm going to take the fucking over. It's the old Tommy B gambling tip of the day.
The over. 17 and a half pilots.
That's the over-under line. I'm taking over 17 and a half pilots.
You know, I'm going to go over as well. Tom and Paul are going over.
It just, like, I had to set the bar high because it felt like this album is like one of those ones that it's like universally liked. I don't think I know anybody that doesn't like this album.
Yeah, no, the line's 17 and a half, and I'm just thinking of like what I know of Megan and whatnot. So here's the thing. I could see her going under, but I think it's going to be over. I think it's going to, I do.
Yeah, this could be like 19, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she went under in the pilots, but I do think she'll enjoy this and it'll go over. Cool. Awesome. Well, if you have nothing else to say, I have nothing else to say.
Got nothing, man. Thanks for having me on again. This is awesome.
Thank you for being on. All right. Well, on that note, it is time to